Greetings, my name is Maricia Guzman and I serve as the guidance counselor for Minatare Public Schools. Today I'm going to be talking to you about our Healthy Tech PBIS program that we plan to implement this fall. This program will help our students learn how to navigate technology systems so that they are well prepared for the future, but also help them develop plans and active actions to help ensure that they have positive and balanced relationships with technology. So here at Minatare, we seek to promote four core concepts to our students, staff, and our community. Obviously, as you know, here we are a very small school district with 180 students total. But although we are small, we seek to provide a quality education that will prepare our students to go anywhere, whether they decide to stay here in the Nebraska Panhandle, move to a larger city, or all the way across the globe. We want to ensure that our students are prepared and have the education they need to succeed. We also seek to prepare our students for college and career tracks here at Minatare. From the time that students enter 9th grade, we are actively talking about college and scholarships and the process of getting to college and transitioning there. But we're also looking at career tracks for individuals that aren't interested in college and would rather enter the workforce immediately, and we are supporting them throughout that journey. In addition, we seek to foster a community of support, acceptance, and inclusion of all of our students and all of their different identities. And finally, we seek to equip students with the technological skills needed to succeed in an ever-changing society. So as we know, technology develops very quickly. And we recently implemented the use of Chromebooks here with all of our students 7 through 12, grades 7 through 12. And we want our students to be able to utilize technology. We want them to incorporate it into their lives, but we also want to ensure that they are using technology in a healthy and balanced way. So just to kind of give you an overall definition of what we're talking about when I am describing technology, I'm talking about Chromebooks, phones, iPads, gaming consoles, TVs, etc. All of the different types of devices that can connect to the internet and connect students to different websites or resources. Some common sites that many of our students utilize would be YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Netflix, different chat sites, Facebook, all of that good stuff for interacting with their peers and seeking out communities online. I wanted to bring up a few different stats for you to kind of consider the magnitude that technology plays in our students' lives. So as of 2018, 90% of teens have used social media. That is a huge proportion of individuals. And so, you know, it's social media use, technology use, it's not going to go away. So the most important thing is that we're proactive in helping promote healthy habits among our students. 2/3 of teens have their own mobile device with internet capabilities. That puts a lot of power into our students' hands, a lot of ability to look up different things, to interact with different people. And so again, it's super important that we are promoting responsibility and wellness practices in regards to tech. And then the average teen spends 9 hours a day online, and that does not include homework. So again, this is a huge part of students' lives. If you look to the right side, there is a survey that I just wanted to bring up to help provide context about why tech is so important for our students and their futures. So we're looking at a graph that shows digital skills and their demand from 2002 to 2016. So as you can see, jobs that had a low digital skills demand decreased from 56% in 2002 to 30% in 2016. Meanwhile, jobs that required medium or high digital skills went up significantly. So medium digital skills positions went from 40 to 48%, and then high digital skills, so individuals that are very well versed with tech, coding, and many other things went from 5% in 2002 all the way to 23%. And I can imagine, as if we look at this graph in another 10 years, those medium and high digital skill positions are only going to increase in number. So it's very important, while there are definitely drawbacks to technology, that we are incorporating technology into the overall educational experience for our students so that they are prepared for the future. So there are definitely pros and cons of technology, and we kind of take a look at that here on this slide. Some of the pros for our students would definitely be social interaction, especially for individuals that may belong to a community that might be a minority in the Minatare community, or are really just having a difficult time finding themselves and might identify with different groups that aren't readily available to them. Definitely that social interaction can be a lifesaver for students. It can help students find common interests. It can help them express themselves in ways that they couldn't also do so otherwise. It helps with their identity development as students are figuring out who they are. They can do a quick web search and see other individuals who have gone through similar experiences to them. It can create communities of support for individuals. It provides an immense opportunity for education and the advancement of knowledge. In reality, if a student wanted to become an expert on zoology, they probably could get pretty far just through Google searches and utilizing their resources on the internet. And so it really is a core component to education today, and something that is just not going away. And it is completely necessary for our modern education system to continue on. Some cons of our technology, that would be exposure to inappropriate content. So, like I said, like in the last slide, so many students have access to devices that have a connection to internet. And so that allows them to look up all sorts of different things that can get them into trouble, or really kind of impact their overall development. It could expose our students to dangerous people who don't have their best intentions in mind. And we've all seen news articles or documentaries on TV where this is taking place. There could be excessive exposure to advertisements, and so that definitely has an impact on student development and how they see themselves, which plays into the unrealistic perceptions of reality. There's privacy concerns. Students also have a tendency to overshare information, as their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, and they tend to not fully always understand the implications of their actions. And then also, excessive use of technology can interfere with sleep patterns. It can, inhibit students from exercising or participating in school activities. And unfortunately, technology also serves as a platform for bullying, which is something that we've seen here at Minatare. So now that we've gone over the pros and cons, I kind of wanted to take a moment and illustrate what inappropriate or unhealthy tech use might look like in a school environment. So last spring, one of our biggest issues that we faced as a school was inappropriate or bullying interactions via social media between students. And so that is an ongoing issue, but definitely we're taking a more proactive approach this fall to hopefully, decrease some of those behaviors. For students that are up all night on looking at TikTok videos or surfing the web or playing video games, that definitely has an impact on sleep abilities overall. And there's actually research that shows that the blue light that comes from our devices can be a big issue for sleep and our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. And so that might impact students if they're falling asleep in class regularly. It might be due to inappropriate tech use. The other issue that we might see in the school environment is our students might be distracted or unable to retain materials, information that they're learning in class. So, if a student is constantly referring to their phone, if it's going off bing, 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 they might be more consumed with what messages are being sent or received as opposed to their instructor and the material that they're delivering. And for some students, tech really becomes kind of a barrier for them when it comes to building relationships with their peers. It's a lot easier if you to come from a new district and it's your first year at this high school to pull out your phone and interact with your friends from your last school than to have conversations with new people, and that can be very nerve-wracking. And so, sometimes individuals take this to another level where they're actually not interacting with their peers and solely interacting with their phones. And there can definitely be a distortion of reality for our students. And so, as I talked about earlier, with Instagram, individuals tend to post their best selves, their best lives. They don't post the not so pretty moments. And so, as a consumer of these images, our students tend to think that, this is reality. This person has a better life than I am, and I'm not as good as this person because my life doesn't look like that. And so those are all conversations that we need to have with our students about the reality versus the perception. And all, unhealthy, unbalanced tech usage can definitely lead to poor mental health, and that might come across as lethargy, depression, anxiety, or FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out. So a California state study that was conducted a few years ago looked at individuals that visited social media sites. So they found that individuals that visited sites 58 times or more per week were 3 times more likely to feel socially isolated or depressed than individuals who only visited those sites 9 times per week. And so, 58 times sounds like a lot, but for our students, it really isn't. It really isn't. If you have, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, if you're going on all these different sites, maybe say 5 times a day, 7 times or every day for a whole week, that definitely adds up pretty quickly. And so, 58 times sounds like a lot, but it is fairly average for most of our students. Now that we've gone over what it looks like when students have unhealthy or unbalanced relationships with technology, I want to roll out our Healthy Tech PBIS plan. And it's our plan for what we're going to do at Minatare High School to ensure that our students have the tools, the support, and the encouragement to have healthy and balanced relationships with technology. So PBIS stands for Positive Behavioral Intervention Supports. And what that is it is a framework or a plan that we are going to implement with students at multiple different levels. And so our universal support, so that bottom portion of the pyramid, is what we are going to do for all students at MHS. So all 7th through 12th grade students will be exposed to a school-wide awareness campaign, a curriculum for healthy and balanced tech use, and a screening process. And then our students that in that screening process appear to still be struggling with tech use and maybe having unbalanced tech usage in their home or in their school environment, then they will move on to our targeted support, so our tier 2 level of support. And so that will consist of small groups to really hone in and work on managing their technology use or incorporating more healthy technology use. And then after another separate screening system or a referral process is our tier 3 support. And so this is for individuals that are really showing to have a lot of difficulties with their tech usage, or maybe there's very concerning behaviors regarding their technology usage. And so these are individuals are going to have individual management plans in which we are incorporating family feedback, and then if necessary, treatment referral for individuals that might even have addiction of sorts to either technology, social media, or anything of the sort. So our Tier 1 universal support, or our Tier 1 intervention plan, is going to impact all of our students. If they're in grade 7, grade 12, grade 10, every single student will interface with our Healthy Tech campaign. And so what our campaign consists of is flyers in the bathroom stalls where the students will have no choice but to read them regarding the use of healthy tech, and making sure that they are paying attention to warning signs that maybe their tech might be crossing over into an unhealthy manner of use. During the second week of school, we will utilize pledges to have all the students sign during the lunch hour that are in accordance with our school policies, just pledging to use tech in a healthy and balanced way. And then we will work with the homeroom teachers during that class period to develop a healthy tech plan for the students for the semester. And so they have different lesson plans that they'll implement during the homeroom period, kind of talking about what are different ways that they can use tech in a healthy and balanced way. But to start off the semester, they will create a plan. So the students are setting limits on their use. They're coming up with a daily plan for their use. So maybe their goal is to only use about 3 hours of tech, and so maybe they're allocating 2 hours for homework and 1 hour for recreation. And then they're also going to list out the warning signs that maybe their tech usage is crossing over into an unhealthy or unbalanced realm. And so that way they are taking the initiative and making sure that they are really managing their tech usage. And then at the end of September, after we've had some time in school, we are going to do a barrier assessment, which I'll talk about on the next slide. And so we also want to make sure that we are being very supportive of our students when they are exhibiting healthy tech behavior or tech usage, and if they are reporting any unhealthy behavior such as bullying to the proper authorities, they will receive a coupon to Fort Fun at the end of the semester. So we also want to reinforce and really celebrate the students who are doing their best and reinforcing that positive behavior. So our barrier assessment, like I mentioned in the last slide, is really an assessment that we are implementing this year to help us identify if there are any barriers that are preventing our students from being successful that we can assist with. And so it's not limited just to tech. We're asking students, do they have proper transportation during the day? Do they need more support in terms of tutoring, etc.? So we're really just trying to identify a variety of barriers, but we are asking questions specifically about tech. And so if any of the students identify the following, then that would mean that they might have an issue with tech, and then they would be pushed into our level 2 or our tier 2 interventions. And so if the student identifies that they have been having excessive screen time, and maybe that's impacting their ability to turn in homework, or maybe they've been using social media until 2-3 in the morning and that's why they can't make it to school on time, that would be a red flag for us. Or if they've been using gaming too much, if they've been having issues with peers or experiencing bullying via tech mediums, and then that would be a reason to push them into our tier 2, which I'll explain here on the next slide. So in addition to taking our assessment into consideration, we will be looking at individuals who have grades of C or lower and that also identified tech as a barrier or that violated a tech policy. And so these individuals would be pushed into our tier 2 or our targeted support interventions. And so this can consist of many different things. One of our interventions at this level would be working groups that would meet during homeroom, separate from their typical homeroom classroom, where they are intentionally trying to start to manage their tech use in a better way. We might bring in speakers for this sort of opportunity. We would use cognitive behavioral therapy practices to help change their behavior, especially if a student is, expressing frustrations inappropriately on social media, and maybe that's causing some issues for them. We would work with them to change their behavior to do something more appropriately. Or if a student is, kind of feeling like they're addicted and they have to check their phone constantly throughout the class period, then we would use our CBT practices to kind of help them learn different ways to cope with that anxiety and be more present in their classes. And finally, students that successfully complete these work groups would be rewarded with a gift card to the school store. Or if they are still struggling with having healthy and balanced tech use after our Tier 2 interventions, then they would be pushed into our Tier 3, which offers even more support for our students. Our intensive support interventions, or Tier 3 interventions, are really going to focus on students that might still be struggling after our universal support measures or our tier 2 level measures, and so these individuals really need more depth and more care in regards to their tech use. And so the ways that a student can end up in our Tier 3 system would be if they indicated tech as a barrier again on our second barrier survey, which will go out in early November, and if they are also have grades of C or lower. The other way is if their parents or guardians come to us with concerns about maybe a gaming addiction, or maybe the student is conversing with unsafe people on the web. So these would be concerns that would elevate them to Tier 3. Or if there are multiple instances of tech usage that violates our school code of conduct. So that these are the ways that an individual can end up in our Tier 3 support system. And so the interventions at this level would be checking their cell phones into a safe in the main office before their first period. So they would actually be handing over their phones during their class periods. They could come and get it during passing time, but then they'd have to turn it back in before their next class. The second thing would be a tech management plan that would involve the family. So especially individuals that might be using their technology in an unsafe way, we would talk with the family, we would talk with them about finding ways to compromise, because they still do need technology to complete their classes and homework and whatnot. But we would have to find a happy medium for all parties involved that would be safe for the student but also meet their needs. And then a referral to our school psych or to community resources. And so that would come into play if an individual is showing signs of a technology addiction. And although there is limited research on tech addiction because it is fairly new, there are resources that we can connect individuals to, or we could do more intensive therapy to see maybe if they're using technology to cover up other unwanted feelings. So again, not all students are going to be involved with our Tier 3 intensive support measures. This is really truly for the students that need the most support or are struggling the most in terms of their technology usage. So here at Minatare, we try to incorporate the 4 B's into everything that we do. The 4 B's are our 4 core values that we seek to incorporate in the classroom, during athletics, during activities, and in our community. So the 4 B's are be responsible, be respectful, be present, and be connected. So now that you have an idea of what our intervention system is going to look like, we are also going to incorporate a healthy tech matrix to help communicate what exact behaviors we are looking for in students. And so this is where we're incorporating our be responsible, be respectful, be present, and be connected. And so as you are looking at our little graph here, you can see that for be responsible, we're looking at being responsible not only in the school environment, but also at home and with others. And so what does that look like if a student's being responsible? Well, at school, they're only visiting class-related sites, when they're surfing the internet or utilizing the internet for class purposes. They're regularly changing passwords to protect their information. They're ensuring that they are being protective of the system. At home, that might be refraining from using Chromebooks for personal use, such as social media or chat sites. And then with others, they're not sharing personal details with strangers online, and they're refraining from sending intimate photos to other students, which tends to be a thing, especially with the older high school students. be respectful. So this means, as students are sitting in class, they're making sure that their phones are muted or silent. They're only utilizing their Chromebooks for note taking and to help promote their educational experience, not detract from it. They are refraining from surfing the web or chatting during class instruction. And at home, that might mean keeping Chromebooks in a safe and secure location, ensuring that we're not just throwing them on the kitchen counter and leaving them out for potential damage. We are refraining from letting unauthorized individuals use our Chromebooks or other school-issued devices. And we're adhering to our family tech plan. We're following the rules in regards to what our parents or guardians have set in place for us when it comes to using technology at home. We are not using technology to bully, harm, or intimidate other people. And, for a lot of our athletic teams or our clubs, they tend to use group chat apps to communicate with one another and coordinate. And we are ensuring that we're utilizing those group chat apps in positive and productive ways. And then for being present at school, we are placing our devices in a secure place during class instruction or activities. We're refraining from responding to texts or emails or other things when instruction or activities are taking place. At home, we're adhering to time limits on tech usage, and we are seeking to designate no device times when we're with our families, so that way we can fully engage with them. When it comes to with others, so other students, teachers, whatnot, we are striving to have device-free conversations and interactions, and we are striving to have conversations with other students during passing periods or activities or during lunch, and limit our device usage so that way we are being present and fully engaging with our community. And finally, being connected. So what that looks like at school is we are utilizing our school email to communicate with teachers and peers when appropriately, or when appropriate, and we are utilizing our secure and shared drives to not only store assignments, but also to work collaboratively with our peers. And at home, we are incorporating healthy tech habits into our daily life, and we are using healthy tech communication with our peers and friends. So we definitely want to encourage our students to use technology. We do want them to be engaged. We do want this to be part of their lives because it is part of our students' reality and just the society that they live in. So it is important to have these skills, but we want to make sure that they're doing it in a safe and healthy and balanced way. And so this matrix will be shared throughout all of our different classrooms and with all of our different students, so they know exactly what kind of behaviors we are looking to see from them. So to summarize, our Healthy Tech PBIS mission for this fall is really to produce technology proficient students. We want our students to utilize technology. We want them to be well versed in all the different things that are out there and to be able to enter a workforce where they can directly apply those tech skills. We want to provide a skill base for an ever-changing technological environment. The things that our students are using right now are probably going to look very different in 10 years. So we want to provide them with a strong foundation so that they can be adaptable and change along with the workforce in society. But as we're doing these things, as we're helping our students become proficient and responsible users of technology, we want to promote healthy and balanced tech habits. And what better time to do that now in a secure, safe environment where there's multiple stop measures to ensure that students are going to be safe. And we want to reduce the number of tech-related issues that we experience at the high school. Unfortunately, these things are just going to continue to happen, but we're really utilizing our universal Tier 1 interventions to help prevent a lot of these issues that might come up. And then if those issues do persist and if students are struggling, we have those layered Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions to ensure that those students are getting what they need and getting that extra support. And we hope that if this plan is implemented successfully, that we will be able to accomplish these different goals.